In this next heat, you can see up on the left-hand side, we have the legendary 3-time Aloha Classic winner, Morgan NOIREAUX, 2-time champion here at Peru as well, the last 2 times, the reigning champion of the PACASMAYO Classic. And in second position on that heat, we've got the wonderfully emotional and powerful Federico MORISIO from Italy. Morgan is from Hawaii, Federico is from Italy, and TITOUANE FLECHET is from France, and Alex Vargas is the Chilean legend. These are 4 very, very good riders, but the one with the hardcore pedigree is definitely Morgan NOIREAUX. One of the very few riders in history to have 3 Aloha Classic titles under his belt. Puts him into a rarefied air in the history of the sport. Yeah, impressive. Other riders to achieve that goal with 3 or more: Robbie Nash, Abaya Moreno, a few classic. Of course, the legendary Angela Cochran has won that event more than any other rider. She's won at Hukipa, not necessarily always at the Aloha Classic, but at other events as well. But she's got a total of 7 titles at Hukipa in the women's division, pro women's. The most decorated rider from Hukipa of all time. So here they are, great graphic. Thanks to our producer Brian Welsh from LA. Brian's pretty famous in the music industry, and we're pretty amazed that we've got him here helping us with all of our graphics and all of our production. He's running around here like a legend, pulling it all together. We have a great live stream team who have come up from Lima. They do a lot of surf contests in Peru. Very experienced. They're really, really good to work with. And the whole judging team over on the far truck, protected from the wind and the elements up here on the ridge, where we get the excellent view. The judging team headed by Jessica Crisp, 23-time world champion, 5-time Olympian, reigning Aloha Classic champion, bit of a legend and one of my great mates. She is our head judge, very experienced and very good at that job. And they're running all the points. So far, I don't think they've put a foot wrong. I don't expect them to. They're excellent at their jobs. All right. Here we go. You can hear the beeping. We're counting down to the start of this heat. Next heat is 35 seconds away. So, yep, the results are official. Jules Denel, Flo Jung are advancing. Antoine Martin and Arnaud Frenet are going into round 2 for the redemption. And that is the start of Heat 2, Round 1 of the Pro Men. We've got Morgan NOIREAUX, Federico MORISIO, TITOUANE FLECHET, and Alex Vargas. On the white sail there, you can see TITOUANE FLECHET, hot sail rider. Out the back on the red sail, it must be Federico MORISIO. Yep, that's him. From Italy. TITOUANE from France. They're all heading into position. There's a lot of maneuvering that goes on. TITOUANE FLECHET coming in here. We can see him coming in. I'm sure the other riders are all moving into position. They'll be waiting for this apparently peaceful, calm Pacific Ocean to throw up some lovely waves for them, but they have to be patient. Pretty slow start to this heat so far. Pretty chilled. That's the orange sail in the foreground of Alex Vargas on his Nash gear. Alex is a bit of a legend, and he's lining himself up for a lovely looking wave, and he's in the perfect position to pick this one up. Well done. All right, this is a great start to the heat after just under 3 minutes. Look at that. Now let's see what Alex can do. This guy's got some serious potential. He's one of the rippers from Chile, and there are many rippers from Chile. Strong section, missing that thing, just a second hit. That first section didn't quite give him what he wanted. Here we go. Oh, another late turn, but he made that into something. Well done. Is he going to get into the section here? He's chasing this one a little bit. He's just a little bit behind the action. He's had 2 good turns, but he's capable of really powerful turns. Here he goes, more into the rhythm as he gets into that flowing part of the wave. Just behind the section a little bit. He's given up on trying to chase that down the line, has he? Or no? He's still going for it. He's heading upwind, you can see here, back into the section. I wonder if he... Yeah, he's hoping there'll be something more here. Here we go. He's going to want to get... Oh, he's a bit behind there. Can he get this? Nice tail out. Nice slashing turn. Huh. Well, it's a great opening wave in the first 3.5 minutes. Oh, look at that. No. Didn't quite get it around. Okay. Love this drone shot. Look at that shot. There's the Faro Resort. The Faro Lighthouse. El Faro, the famous lighthouse on the point. This replay shows you he's in that pocket, but he then had to do a quick little extra move to jump and grab that edge, which was smart because otherwise he would have been left behind the section and missed the scoring potential. There he goes, another quick move to grab that section. So he's reading this pretty well, and he's certainly very quick to adapt, but it's just not the wall that he wanted, I'm sure. He wanted a big, long, powerful wall to smash. But there you go. He's made the most of this wave, and he's caught a good wave in the first part of the heat, and he's off to a good start. Okay. That replay showing Alex really reading this wave, getting himself for the first sections, getting himself back into it when it reforms, and then trying to milk this last part of the wave. Done a pretty good job. That last move is, you never know, it's worth a shot. All right, here we go. Morgan Noireux on the Neil Pride sail with the bright pink new boards from JP. He's sponsors now for quite a while. Here he goes. Morgan also very experienced at coming here. He's been coming here since he was a kid, as a youth, as a junior. So I think Morgan may have been coming here since about at least 2014. So nearly 10 years, maybe even longer than that. I wonder if he might have come here in the first events in 2012 or 2013. When the AWT were pioneering these places, they came across... Oh, look at that beautiful turn from Federico Mauricio. The Italian wildman. Look at that. Classic bottom top turn riding. Well done. That was a really good turn that we cut to immediately there. That was really, really nice. Okay. Fede's infamous here for being one of the few riders who can plane out all the time, and as a consequence he gets a lot more waves than a lot of other riders. It drives everyone crazy. It's pretty hilarious to watch. He is mad keen. Oh, that was a really good top turn. So let's see what these scores are doing. We're going to get an update on those latest ones, but there's a replay of Fede's. Lovely turns. Not super critical, these ones. The first one he did, which wasn't quite part of this replay, was pretty critical, but that'll score pretty well. Let's see what happens. All right. Nice replay there. Watching Federico milk that for a long, long way down. All right, let's get a refresh here. Look at this beautiful wave. The white sail of Titouane Flechet from France. He's very young. He's only recently out of the junior fleet and into the full pro. He's been sailing pro for a couple of years. And he's a great sailor. Used to sailing in the west coast of France in the wild conditions with strong winds, sometimes big waves, and he just charges. So coming here, all the riders find this the most dreamy wave. This year the water's surprisingly warm. Oh, had a little lip there, didn't quite get the aerial that he would have been looking for. That point scoring potential, not quite what he wanted. Here he goes, another section. Slides the tail out, but not super critical of where the wave was. He's doing pretty well here, but he's going to want to try and get that critical section like everyone else. So holding himself back, looking around the sail, seeing what is coming, trying to read for opportunities. What can he see? It's accelerating again. Here he goes. Little aerial at the end. And you can see the Zodiac there with Paul Karolaitis of Fishbowl Diaries chasing them, getting the shots. I love this drone footage. It just looks so spectacular. You can see the way the wave wraps around this point, and that's what you're watching as you come in. You can see in the center of your screen the takeoff zone. There's a rock there that everyone calls a rock, but in fact it's an old engine block from an old fishing thing. But that's the thing at low tide that sticks up, and that's kind of the marker for where everyone takes off. Look at Julian from this cruisy angle. This wave offering him a few opportunities at scoring. Certainly its length is good. There's a critical-ish. Yeah, that was the one that slid out, but he's not going to be scoring well unless he's hitting a really critical part of the wave, like we keep saying. But look at him looking. He's got his backhand off the sail even, just chilling out. There he goes for that thing. Wasn't what he wanted. He wanted more. He's cutting back, again, waiting for another opportunity. He's reading the wave pretty well. Certainly putting himself in the right places to take advantage of it. Cutting back and doing those check turns to stay in that pocket, which is where he is right now. The most powerful part of the wave, right at the edge of the white water and the steepest part of the wave. Here's his last little chance at the steep. This is where he just tried to pop an aerial. A little one came out. Those sails, like so many of the others' sails, are starting to be the super lightweight material that's coming out. Here's Alex Vargas. That must be the end of a 360 that we just missed. Wow, Alex will be he'll be stoked. All right, that's not an amazing wave, but if he pulled off a 360 there, and I'm pretty sure he did, that looked like the end of one, then he's going to do well on this wave. Look at this steep section here. He is smash it. Nice. All right, I think Alex will be pretty happy with that wave. All right, Alex is in the lead in this heat with Federico MORISIO in second and Morgan NOIREAUX, again the top seed, in third. What's going on with our top seeds? And Titouane is in fourth place. Wow, Alex, his next wave score has just thumped him even further into the lead with 12.67. That's a great heat score. Alex is on fire. So one of the things that we love about this tour is the fact that, look at that. Look at that. That was the 360 we didn't quite get all of before, and there we got it then. No wonder he's getting good scores. Look at him go. So Alex now has a 6.07 and a 7.17, making a total heat score of 13.24. Most impressive. That's ahead of, he's the only rider, well, Titouane has two waves, but it's a 1 and a 3.4. Look at that. Oh, he's killing it. Alex. The Chilean contingent continues to rise on the wave tour. We've been aware of them for a long time, but really the fact that we've now got this unified tour is giving riders like this who don't have the money to get into Europe, don't have the money to travel around the world all that much, but do have the money to go to a Chile event, which is where they live, and then up the coast with a relatively cheap trip up to Peru. And we're starting to see these guys and girls come out of the woodwork and start to get their moment in the sun. They're very, very good riders, and they have, you know, been very good without anyone being aware of them for many, many years. So it's really exciting to see all that raw talent around the world starting to get a chance to shine on the international stage. This is really exciting. Maybe not so exciting for Morgan NOIREAUX, who's currently sitting in third spot. Morgan has beaten Alex before in Chile, and Morgan will no doubt come back with some strong scores. So Alex has got 2 wave scores, Federico in second only 1 wave score, Morgan only 1 wave score, and Titouane has 2 wave scores, but the first one was a 1 and then a 3.4. But, you know, we've got 13.5 minutes left to go. Gosh, this is going to be interesting. Now, Morgan tends to be a very cool customer. He'll be calmly waiting for the set waves. Determined, focused, seasoned competitor. Extremely good. He's been competing at the international level since he was very young, and one of the most experienced wave riding competitors in the world today. The ocean's gone a bit chill, which is not a bad thing for the riders who are heading out, still trying to get into position. They're not ready for the sets, so that's okay that the sets aren't coming. You can see in the foreground on the right-hand side, that's Titouane. Then in the middle of those riders, that's the red sail of Federico Mauricio. And out the back, that looks like it must be Morgan, I think. It's not the orange sail, so yeah, it must be Morgan out the back. Now, we've just been joined in the commentary booth, aka the Jeep, by legendary Hawaiian rider, winner of the Cabo Verde event last year, and all-around nice guy with a lot of hair, Bant Rodica. Welcome from Hawaii to PACASMAYO.
Thank you. Yes, I am your resident hairy guy with a smile. Here comes Morgan on a wave. I had to come up into the booth because I watched that last set from the water, and it was an absolute beauty. I wasn't sure exactly how much the swell had come up, but after seeing that set, it's like, okay, you know, there's some serious waves out here. And I'm sure at this point Morgan's just looking for a backup score, because I think it took about half the heat to get that set. And it's honestly surprising, though, to see the score that he did get from that set. Of course, I saw like the size of the wave and not the entire wave. Very smooth. I really love Morgan's bottom turn on Portec. Perfect. But I also saw some pretty epic rides from Alex. Like Alex Vargas was killing it right from the beginning, catching a lot of waves and staying busy like up high on the wave, and then waiting for that big set to come down. And then he pulled a Taka earlier in the heat too, which I saw, which the whole Peruvian local contingency, everybody was going absolutely nuts for that one. Yeah, so a really nice ride from Morgan there. It'll be really interesting to see how that changes his score. I know everyone's looking for, you know, some kind of backup to the very far and few between sets. I think the game plan at this point, with the swell still being on the rise, is to get, you know, one big set if you can, and then back it up with a decent enough sort of in-between wave. Titouane's been very smooth throughout the whole heat, throughout the whole trip, really. I mean, he's really shown a lot of wave riding prowess. He's reading his eyes. Look at that. Look at the smoothness of that turn. Yeah, he's a natural. Absolutely. You know, you might associate Titouane with, you know, European conditions jumping, but he does quite a bit of wave riding, and he makes it a point to be a super well-rounded sailor. So it definitely shows in his riding and his brother's too. Yeah, this is right when he starts to really line it up. You can see this top turn. That is a perfect semicircle. You know, a lot of guys that you'll see here, they do a great bottom turn, but they come up into the lip and there's not necessarily the section providing for like a great top turn, and they end up just sliding the tail. And while visually sliding the tail can be a bit deceiving in the sense that it looks really quite difficult, but it's not difficult. What TITOUANE did there was keeping the flow from the bottom of the wave to the top of the wave and then back down to the bottom of the wave. That's extremely difficult and requires a lot of finesse. So with 8 minutes left in the heat, it's hard to say whether or not another substantial set will come in. I'm pretty sure it took about half the heat for that proper set to come in. So you got to kind of wonder what's going through the minds of these competitors and where their game plan is. You can see Morgan's planing or trying to plane. He's trying to get the advantage. He probably knows that his scores are kind of mediocre, and he's going to be looking for something else. He probably just needs to spice it up a little bit with a couple extra maneuvers. But he'll be hard put to it because Federico is pretty dangerous. This is a guy who spends quite a bit of time windsurfing in Chile, and because of that, the guy's port tack wave riding is pretty phenomenal, and has progressed quite exponentially over the last couple of years. Federico actually beat me in 2019 in Topocalma, and I kind of chalked that up to like, I just needed to train a little harder for port tack wave riding, and I wasn't used to it, and this, that, and the other thing. But the reality of it is that was kind of just the beginning for Federico. He's been quite on fire, and he showed that in Cloudbreak Fiji as well this year, that he's a force to be reckoned with. He took out Brasinho. I like seeing guys using these in-between waves to get a little bit more upwind progress. It's a bit visually deceptive because it looks quite flat and calm, but there's a very strong current that runs downwind across the point and out into the bay. And so the entire time that you're sort of reaching and pointing upwind, whatever wind that you have in your sail, it feels about half the strength because the current is constantly pushing you down and sort of out to sea and away from the wave. So it's a very challenging wave to sail in the sense that keeping an upwind position and staying on that point is quite difficult. And any little advantage that you can glean from just catching a small wave and taking it upwind and taking it in can actually help you quite a bit. Just looking at this angle from the drone right now, like visually, it might look as if Morgan has like pole position, but the way that TITOUANE is headed now, he's actually going to be set up for the set and will likely be the most upwind sailor here in the next couple of minutes. So that was a really smart move of him to actually take that wave upwind and put himself into good standing for the end of this heat. Yeah, so I was just saying that, it's kind of interesting. You got to wonder what's going to go through everyone's mind now that there's 4.5 minutes left, and there's likely not to be another set for the rest of the heat.
Exactly, and it's interesting comparison to the first heat, where also the top seed Antoine was ended up in third place. This is the way it goes, isn't it? Sometimes you just don't really find yourself in sync with the ocean, and you can't get the waves you want, or you can't get the scores on the waves that you get. And sometimes this is what happens, which is why we have the dingle, why we have the second chance, the redemption round going up next. But at the moment, amazingly, it looks like Alex Vargas, ranked 50th in the world, is ahead of Federico, I think he's 17th or something like that, and ahead of Morgan, who is 11th or so, and turning it on their heads. Incredible. Alex and Federico are going to move through to round 3 at this rate, and Morgan and TITOUANE are going to be going into round 2. to meet the likes of Antoine. I mean, who would want to be in one of those heats and have to win?
Yeah, that's going to be a very uncomfortable dinner tonight. So I think that the fun and games have officially ended. You know, over the last couple of days we've been, you know, playing board games and Mario Kart and passing the time and having fun. And I think now it's gonna be a bit more somber. But yeah, I mean that's the nature of wave sailing competition and why it is so exciting to watch, and also why it's so, I guess, egalitarian. You know, it's very equal. Like the ocean is a great equalizer for people that are ranked first or 50th or whatever, because, you know, all you have to do is just get in the right place for the right one. And suddenly your fortunes have changed.
Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? I mean, one of the things that we love about the way the waves are and the way the ocean is that everyone gets their chance. Everyone has their opportunity. It's one of the nice things about these sorts of big tours in general. More people get more access, and you never know. Like, look, a guy like Alex Vargas, I was talking about it before, Bant. We've all known that he's a great rider for years, but, I mean, he hasn't gone out and done the world tour. He's got other things that he's doing. He's living in Chile. And like so many of those riders down in Chile, they're really very, very good, but they're not well known on the tour because they don't get a chance to get out there and go on it. So this way, this is him having a chance on the world stage. It's pretty exciting to watch.
Yeah, that's actually funny that you say that, because I remember the first time that I went down to Chile, you and I had a conversation about Alex and some of the local guys, and, you know, you were telling me about their skill and how you know, impressive they were as wave sailors. And I mean, admittedly for me, I was kind of like, well, I mean, if they're so good, why wouldn't they just be at other events? Like, why haven't I seen them before? And but yeah, it's like when you factor in the fact that it's pretty difficult to get to any other event from Chile, and it's so much more difficult to sort of start that momentum. Like, being in Hawaii, you attend the Aloha Classic every year, and one year you're just going to strike it right, and then from there on, you're going to have a career. And
well, I like the way you downplay how it's just like a lucky draw who gets to win the
at
Aloha
some
Classic.
point, somebody's going to notice you.
Well, that's true. I mean, Hawaii is like the epicenter of a lot of this. But look, let's call this wave first. This is Federico Mauricio. He's coming down on a fairly nice wave. He's got some scoring potential here. Now, he's mostly looking to defend his position against a possible onslaught from Morgan, isn't he? So, look, he's got a good top turn there. Oh, he fell at the back. Oh, well, that wave probably won't be the one that adds to his score, but here's TITOUANE on a small wave. He's pulling off. Oh, not quite.
It would be interesting if he had landed that goiter, just to see what the judges are giving maneuvers out here today. The goiter especially, like a lot of times goiters and takas are sort of held in similar status as wave sailing maneuvers, but the taka is considerably more simple to pull off in these conditions, whereas the goiter takes, I don't know, like the perfect section and the perfect wind direction coming together. But here's Morgan now. He's actually got a very nice wave. So
can he pull it off?
I'm pretty confident that he can get a good score. He's a machine. You know, Morgan,
10 seconds to go.
He's quite consistent, and already he's looked very, very solid on this wave. It seems as if it's a kind of like a side on shore angle. Like a lot of times when he was coming off the top, it looked like he was having a bit of trouble projecting. We'll see what he does on the inside. There's a lot of opportunity still left on this wave. I'm sure it's pretty nerve-wracking. This is definitely his last section. That was nice.
That was good.
A very good tail drift. Oh, wow. Nice. Following along very closely here, just wondering what are the judges going to think. But you can never count Morgan out. You know, he's an incredible competitor. And you just had to give him the waves. And he's incredibly competitive. Incredibly competitive. Like, you see, you know, he's a chill guy. He's this, that, and the other thing, but he's incredibly competitive. Oh, wow.
That was nice. He's going to get a good score on this wave.
That was fantastic. Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah, with Morgan, it's like every wave is a nail, and he's a hammer. And I think that he probably sealed it. This is a great angle for, yeah, the inside section where he started with that tail drift, was able to back it up. You know, I love to see, like, zero break in between maneuvers on this wave, because it's quite difficult. You know, the wave's kind of slow. A lot of times you have to wait, like Morgan is now. But when you actually get a section with a little bit of teeth and you can rip off 3 maneuvers without slowing down or breaking your flow at all, that shows a very high degree of difficulty. Nice air at the end. Cool. We'll definitely look forward to... Oh, look at that. Morgan in second place with 13 points. Oh, Federico.
Well, there you go. You said it, Ben. You never discount a champion.
Yeah.
A very, very bad idea. And as we were saying before, like Federico was on that wave to try and defend his position, and he just lost that last thing. But the real champion and the real story here is Alex Vargas winning this heat against a stacked heat. That's impressive. Yeah, he did really well. And I really love the story about those riders that we don't know so well having this chance to shine. I really like that story.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it makes going to Chile that much scarier. But because I mean, seeing his Taka as well, it's like you know, it's not just like your standard garden variety Taka. That maneuver that he pulled out showed a very high degree of skill and style as well. Like he has a very unique way of sailing that would be hard to be judged against.